Hey, hello everyone. It's been a while. I've been super busy with a lot of new tools that we are building right now for agents, LLMs, and more. Keep an eye on the blog post and more because we have some official announcement to do in the next weeks. But today I want to pick up something that a couple of people asked me is that, hey, which is an easy way to create a chat application powered by LLM that is doing RAG and also calling a service to generate image. So today, that's what we are going to see. An application that you can run for free because we are going to use models with GitHub Models. And remember, with GitHub Models, you have a daily quota that you can use. We need to do some image generation. Of course, we are going to do some cloud image generation with Hugging Face. With your Hugging Face account, you have some free minute of GPU to use there. And in order to avoid doing all of the coding to create a chat application and more, we are going to use one of the AI templates that we have literally ready to do this. And they are super cool in terms that with one click, you can generate an AI chat application that is doing RAG and more, and you can choose to use GitHub Models or Azure OpenAI or even Olama. And then you can switch between those models. And also for the vector database, you can do in memory, Azure Search. Hey, it is a super cool one. So let's see how we are going to do that. It's super easy. The demo is also in the repo, so you can take a look at the code and implement it yourself. And as usual, I appreciate the subscribe, like, and more. Let's jump for this. So let's start with the services that we are going to use, which are going to be GitHub Models and Hugging Face. In both, we can use the free tier, which is good enough for our demo. In order to get first start the token, let's go to our GitHub profile, go to your profile, settings. Let's go here in the bottom, developer settings. And here we can create a token. I have a couple of here. Let's create a new one. Classic. Let's put this YouTube image gen. 30 days, that's fine. I am not going to change anything. Generate token, that's fine. I have it here. Remember, you're only going to see this here. Let's copy the token, and that's it. We have the Hugging Face, the GitHub token. And next, the next step is very similar. Let's go to Hugging Face in your account, go to profiles here. You have here the access to get to your tokens. So go to your tokens and let's create a new token. Let's do again GenAINet YouTube. We don't add to add any permissions, create token, copy the token, and that's it. We have both here ready to be used. And this is the format, the JSON format that we are going to use later in our solution. And the first steps is going to be to create a .NET AI web application chat, the web chat application. This is basically using one of the templates that we can do and install. We need to run this .NET new install Microsoft Extension AI template. I run this, and when you create the application, when you install this, you have two new templates to be used locally, the AI chat web, and the MCP server. This is the first one that we are going to use, and this is super important to do. And by the way, I'm not going to use other services, but you can run this chat application using GitHub Models. For today, this is our demo, or you can go to OpenAI, Olama, or Azure OpenAI. This is super, super cool. Okay, we have the template installed. I have it here, AI chat web application. So let's create a new project, chat application 18. As you can see, I am testing a lot this project. And the important part here, one of the key parts, not important, is that this is the place that we can choose the framework. And later also, if we want to switch to Azure OpenAI or LAM or more, I am going to leave everything by default. I already have my GitHub models. And let's create the application. This is going to create something like this. So I have here everything, and of course, it's asking me to set up my secrets. I already have my secrets from previous steps. So let's edit the project and save the GitHub models, and let's give it a try. This is going to open a Blazor application. Somewhere here is the console, and let's see in which monitor we have the stuff. It's also embedding information from the PDF, so we can do some RAG, and this is the application. As you can see, it's a very simple one, and I can ask questions like, an example, one question about the survival kit, and hey, because this question is doing some RAG, I'm going to have the reference here from the survival kit. But this is the moment that I also going to want to generate image, that this is what we are going to do with Hugging Face. So if I ask the model to do the chat application to generate a pixelated image of a raccoon in Canada, the model is going to say, I can't help with that. So this is where we are going to start to add some code and more to use Hugging Face here to generate images. But before adding some code, let's do a quick recap of what we want to do. So we want to use one of the tools that Hugging Face exposed using their MCP server. We can take a look in the official documentation here, and we are going to see an example how we can add the server. We can test the server. There are a couple of tools here, the semantic search, the space semantic search, model search. The one that we want to use is the one to generate images, the Val State Flux Snell, which is a model that generates images. To give this a try, what I am going to do, I'm going to switch quickly to Visual Studio Code, and I am going to add the MCP server from Hugging Face. As you can see here, I don't have the authorization code. We don't need to do that here unless I want to add my token. Remember the one that I have here, so I can add it. So let's give this a try. But if I don't add it, Visual Studio Code will automatically ask me to log in, and it's going to do the login for me. Once I have this, I can start the server, and we can see that we have 10 tools here. And in the list of tools here in the MCP, we can take a look, and somewhere here, I don't want Azure Resources or GitHub or DevBox or more. And somewhere here in the bottom, we will have the Hugging Face MCP server that have the flux that we want to do. So I am going to ask to use the specific tool from Hugging Face, and with this tool, generate a pixelated image of a raccoon in Canada. And I'm going to ask also to be a small one, so we don't use a lot of the free CPU that we have. It's asking the image, and it's going to start the generation. We have here the generated image. It's kind of nice, it's kind of cool. Let's stop this. So it's doesn't run anymore. We have here the generated raccoon, pixelated, very small here. And hey, we can even go to Hugging Face, reflect to our account, refresh this, and we should see here that in our 0 CPU, 5 minutes that we have a little less than a minute used today to do this. So this is kind of nice, and this is what we want to add into our chat application in .NET. Okay, now that we've seen what we want to do, let's go back to our chat application and let's add the necessary changes to basically use this super cool Hugging Face generate image tool that we have here in our chat application. So let's start. We are going to use MCP. So the first thing that we need to do, we need to add the model context protocol. There it is, model context protocol package. There it is. The latest version that we have today is 0.3. Once it's added, what we need to do is to basically, we need to register the Hugging Face server here in the chat client, the MCP client, to access this. So what we are going to do is in the program file of the Blazor application, let me copy this. Before we build the application, let's add a couple of lines. So we are going to add an MCP client. We are going to use, that's going to be named Hugging Face MCP, and we are going to use a GPT-4 4.1 mini and the token that we save in the configuration to access this. And then we are going to create a collection of headers. Remember, this is one of the options to do the headers with the access token. And then we are going to create an SSE client transport using the Hugging Face.co MCP tool. And with this, the create client factory would create this client. This is literally the MCP client to connect this. So once we have the client and the client is registered so we can use it later in any, it's registered to be used in the services, let's go to the chat application and register this so we can use it. This is the chat.razor, and what we need to do here is a couple of things. First of all, we need to inject the client that we add. So here in the code, let's inject the client, Hugging Face, that's the name that we did, and we need the using here. So using model context protocol, and let's fix the indentation, there it is. And later on initialize, as we see here, this is very simple. We only have one function here in the chat options, that this is what we use to chat. And this is what we are going to use, basically function calling. We only have the search as in what we need to do. What we want to do is literally to have the Hugging Face tools also here. So what we are going to do is we are going to add the chat role system message, the system prompt message, then get the list of tools from the MCP client and add those tools to the chat options here. plus the original one to do the search. With all of this, we can give it a try to this application. So this is the application up and running. And if we go back, I have the prompt somewhere here. We are going to say using Flux Snell tool from Hugging Face. And let's add here. We are going to see that in the text contents, we are going to have the message. And okay, we are going to do streaming async here, streaming async here. So let's run this and wait. There it is. Pixelated image of a raccoon in Canada. This still is doing the search here. So if we want to do something, if we ask about the survival kit, we should call the other tool, the search tool. There it is. And we are going to see the reference somewhere here to the original document. And hey, I am doing the Canadian sample here. So if I do something using the tool image, generated pixel image of raccoon, of a squirrel in Canada, again, doing the another image. And as you can see, the chat application is already prepared to show the output as image. And this is going to take some time. And if I go back to my Hugging Face account, I will see that I am still using a couple of other GPU times here. Oh, I think I hit the limit. This is what's happening in demos. I think I hit the limit of my daily tokens to use for the GPU minute to use for this. But hey, as you can see, it works literally with 3 lines of code, 4 lines of code, and you can see the final samples and more in the generative AI. There's a generative AI for beginners.net repository there. So hey, I hope you like it. 10 lines extra of code, and you can add image generation to your projects. Hey, I hope you like it. As you see, I between the test and recordings and more, I use my daily quota of Hugging Face tokens. That's what's expected. By the way, you can pay for that, and that's a very good service to have in your toolset if you want to spend some money, because access to those models hosted on the cloud so you can test it and literally use them, it's super cool. And as you see, also in .NET. So this is something that at the end of the day, MCP plus LLMs plus tool is a lot of things that you can use to make your application more powerful, or like this one, more fun to generate some funny images of raccoon, squirrels, and more. I hope you like it. As again, one more time, subscribe, like, and more. See you next one. Goodbye.